Welcome back to another edition of Practice by Numbers with Front Office Rocks. I'm Laura and I'm here with Rohit. And in this video, we're going to talk about making custom dashboards. So if you've watched other videos that we've done with Practice by Numbers, there's so much information in here that sometimes it can be quite overwhelming. So what we're going to talk about today is how to take the data out of the software and put it into a screen or a format that matters to you so that you can look at statistics and numbers based off of a provider or a department or a certain area that you manage. So I believe in today's example, we're gonna take like a doctor and say, all right, if a doctor only wants to look at certain numbers when they sit down and look at Practice by Numbers, how do we set up that custom dashboard? So Rohit, if you'll walk us through it, I'm gonna say he knows the software inside and out. So I'm gonna interrupt him throughout the whole time and ask questions, so that at the end of this, I fully understand it, and hopefully you will too. So Rohit, if you want to kind of talk us through how we would get started and why we would want a custom dashboard.
Yeah, no, it's, okay, I'm gonna cut here and I'm gonna restart, and you don't have to repeat the whole thing again, so I will restart it. I'm gonna give myself a cue and then get started. There we go. So the reason we created customizations in Practice by Numbers is that we realize that, as Laura, as you said, it can be pretty overwhelming because running a dental office is not easy. You have 100 different things you have to look at. And our system looks at even more. It looks at almost 300 different things. But no practice at one point, no doctor at one point can really look at more than 10 numbers or so. Okay? And you need to pick and decide what are those numbers and what are those key performance metrics that you want to track. And you take those performance metrics and you display them in a customized dashboard for your doctor. So you don't have to go through 10 different pages. The system is organized the way it's organized based on feedback that we receive from multiple doctors and where it should be. But that doesn't mean all the data that you, for every single doctor, is on the same page. So for one doctor, it could be on the same page. For another doctor, they might be looking at 3 different pages. So what our system does is consolidates those things and puts them on a single page. So how do you customize? It's actually pretty straightforward. Once you know how you do it,
it's pretty easy. You just showed me and I was figuring it out. So let me just kind of reiterate a little bit what we were saying. There's so much information in Practice by Numbers, and eventually over time, you're going to want to get to learn the information because this is how your office will become more proactive about things going on in your practice. But the first step is just getting your doctors to log in on a daily basis and watch what's going on. So by giving them, like he said, 10 numbers, pick the things that matter. What are you currently tracking or wanting to track? And design this custom dashboard to just start with that, because the first step of implementing this is getting everyone to open it every day and get the data they need. Then you can start adding new stuff. So let's design a custom dashboard for a doctor.
Right, let's do that. So let's say you have multiple doctors in the office and each doctor wants to take a look at their own dashboard. Okay, so let's look at it from an associate doctor standpoint, not from an owner doctor standpoint. And then we'll look at it from an owner doctor standpoint as well. Okay. So let's take, from an associate standpoint, what are the things for an associate to be taking a look at? So what are they doing in terms of production? How well are they producing? What's going on in terms of how many patients are they seeing? What treatment are they presenting? What treatment is getting accepted is important. So let's go into a couple of different areas. The first thing I'm going to go is going to provider productivity.
And I'm going to jump in real quick, just so that everybody, as they're looking at this, the line that's on the left-hand side, everything below that line is designed and set up by Practice by Numbers. Everything above the line is what becomes custom. So you're going to see as he sets up this custom dashboard, it's going to go above the line, and then it was made for that, for us to use in the practice.
Right. So I went into provider productivity where you can select any number of providers that you have. So you can do detailed analysis on individual providers. But again, you have to go into that page. So let's say you want to create a custom dashboard for your associate. All you basically do is any of these panels, right? Any of these panels, you can add to a custom page for a custom provider, and they can have access to that. So let's take this. Let's say I want to add the production for individual provider. All I have to do is click on this right arrow and add to homepage. Now, in this case, let's say we want to do it for Dr. Ford over here. I'm going to select Dr. Ford. I'm going to call the name of the page as Dr. Ford.
Okay, so you clicked on the box and you said, let's make it a custom page. This opens up. You're going to name it so that we know who it is looking at it or what it is we're going to look at. And you're going to make sure that you pick the selected provider that you want this to always pull on.
Yes, so that when that doctor logs in and goes into this page, he doesn't have to select himself as a provider if he's already pre-selected.
Okay.
Okay, and I will hit save. Now, if you see up top, you see a new dashboard has been created. It's called Dr. Ford. And as I click on that, that production tab now shows up. And this only contains now his production and his production only. So everything that he did. So if he has to ever wonder what he did this month, he just has to come to this page. If he wants to figure out how much he has done year to date, all he does is changes the date. And it updates the whole thing and gives you that year to date. Okay. Let's continue down the same path. Let's say, so we looked at production. Let's look at their treatment planning. So this is the treatment acceptance. Now this is for everybody, but I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to go
slow. So you click on the arrow, okay? Then you go add to new home page, okay?
And this is already selected, but if it's not, you select the one that you want to add to.
Okay.
And you select the provider that you want to do it for. And this is Dr. Ford, as we discussed. And I'm going to hit save again.
So in case you've already been in Practice by Numbers, you see what he's doing is setting up a dashboard so it saves the amount of clicks somebody has to do to go find the data they need. And it actually helps you as the owner or the office manager or whoever's running this software to be able to put the person's statistics right in front of their face when they log in. So they're just going to go to them and they're going to see everything they care about first and every day when they're logging in.
Right. So this treatment window was looking at overall treatment, but there's also more information that each doctor should be looking at, and that's in the detailed panel. So as you know, if you've been using Practice by Numbers, this slanted arrow brings up more details. It always brings up more details. So that's what I'm going to do, bring up the details. I'm going to add this panel as well, which is the treatment acceptance provider, because I'm especially interested in understanding what is the total amount of treatment being presented and also what is the patient acceptance. So do the same exact thing, add to homepage, take Dr. Ford, and add Dr. Ford.
And that's an important part that I kept missing, just so you guys know. When you select that provider, you have to go in and actually select the provider you wanted to pull for.
Right. And I'm going to go back here to my main page, the page that Dr. Ford.
That's awesome. So that's everything about Dr. Ford. Now I only want to keep these videos about 10 minutes each. So can you show us how to edit this and who has access to this?
Yes. So you can edit this. You can add, first of all, you can add 10, 15, 20 different items to it, but don't make it too overwhelming. Have maximum of 6 panels, maybe 10 to 15 numbers, not more than that on it, so that it still is useful. So when you look at it, it makes sense. Okay. The other thing is you can share this out. Anybody in the office can create a dashboard, or actually office admin or the owners can create a dashboard. I think staff may be able to create dashboards as well. But then you can edit this. You can rearrange the items. So if you can see, I can change the order of the items to whatever I want. That's an important aspect. And I can create a dashboard as an office admin, and I can share it with anybody in the office. Okay. So I can click the people that I want to share it with so that they don't have to recreate these custom dashboards and they're created for them. You can also change the ownership of the dashboard. So if you, let's say, Laura, you create the dashboard for your office and you want to give access to edit that dashboard to whoever you're giving it to, you can make them the owner of the dashboard as well.
Okay.
And once you click whom you want to share them with, all you do is hit save. So the next time they log in, they'll see this dashboard show up right here up top.
Okay. And you said, can you have more than one owner of the dashboard when you were saying that, the editing?
So you can have more than one viewers of the dashboard.
Okay.
You can have only one owner of the dashboard.
Okay. So if you're designing one for somebody else, you can set it up and then make them the owner if you want them to be able to manage it going forward.
Exactly. And also, if you do make a mistake, for example, making a dashboard, it's not the end of the world. So you can make changes such that come in here, let's say you made a mistake and you did not select Dr. Ford or you selected somebody else. You can come back in a custom dashboard and click on settings and you can change some of the items because you can pick somebody else or you can take somebody else out.
Okay.
Okay.
Or you can remove it. So one of the things with the dashboards, what I would recommend and what I'm going to do in my office, because we just set up our dashboards or some of them, is I'm going to start working one-on-one with the employees and the doctors and ask them, what do they look at? What order do they want them in? What do they not look at? What else would they like to see? Not everybody's going to be the same necessarily. So I'm going to work with each one of my users in Practice by Numbers and really make this be the place they go to and have it work for them so that way they can be more proactive about what's going on in their area in the practice.
Yeah, and especially if you involve them and understanding what numbers are important and create names for them and they have a place to go to and it's their name associated with it, it creates ownership and accountability as well.
Yep. And as you guys saw, once you get the first one down, it's easy to just add and change going forward. So I would highly recommend that you go in. What we've done first, I've made a dashboard for each doctor. I'm going to make a dashboard for each hygienist, and then we'll start talking about the front. So that way, all this other stuff that has all the 300 and some KPIs doesn't get overwhelming. Everybody knows where they need to go to play an impact in helping the practice grow. All right, well, do you have anything else to add when it comes to just making a custom dashboard?
No, I think that's it. The next video, maybe we should focus on how to create dashboards that are focused on teams rather than individuals.
That'd be perfect. Yep, great. Well, thank you guys for watching again, and we hope you go in and make some dashboards and then watch the next one that has to do with how to make team dashboards. So thanks for logging in again with Practice by Numbers and Front Office Rocks.
Thanks, everyone.